Logan first noticed Amber when she was just 15, and he was only a week away from turning 18. She was a close friend of his sister, Vanessa, and both girls had been invited to his birthday party. That night, Logan finally gathered the courage to confess his feelings for Amber. To his relief, she didn't reject him. From that moment on, their relationship began. 5 years later, Logan finally built up the nerve to propose. Without a moment's hesitation, Amber said yes. They agreed to wait a year before tying the knot, as Amber was in the middle of finishing her senior year of college and didn't want to juggle two major milestones at once. The plan was simple. She would focus on finals and graduation that summer, take a short breather, and then devote herself entirely to wedding preparations. Time seemed to fly, and their wedding date approached faster than they had anticipated. The venue was booked. Invitations had been mailed, and Amber had already chosen a stunning white gown for the occasion. One afternoon, as they lounged together, Amber casually asked, "So, have you figured out what you're doing for your bachelor party?" Logan shrugged, probably just heading to a sports bar to catch the big soccer match. Amber rolled her eyes, unimpressed, but didn't argue. She also mentioned that her friend Marissa had been planning a surprise bachelorette party for her, though she had no clue what to expect. The day of her bachelorette party arrived, and Marissa called to let her know she'd be picking her up in a couple of hours. Excitement bubbled within Amber as she rushed to get ready. Truthfully, she had been looking forward to this party almost as much as the wedding itself. The entire drive, Amber bombarded Marissa with questions. Where were they going? What was the plan? But Marissa simply smirked and kept the details under wraps. Eventually, they pulled into a yacht club, and Amber practically squealed with excitement. For the next several hours, they cruised along the water, basking in breathtaking views and snapping photos at every opportunity. Champagne flowed freely, and before long, Amber was feeling pleasantly tipsy. The captain of the yacht, a tan man in his early 30s named Alan, had broad shoulders and muscular arms that flexed beneath his snug t-shirt. Amber found herself unable to look away. Marissa, catching her staring, gave her a playful wink and whispered that a little adventure before the wedding wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Under the haze of alcohol, Amber somehow ended up seated right next to Alan, flirting without a care. At first, he seemed hesitant, but as the drinks flowed, his resistance faded, and he leaned into her advances with a growing smirk. One thing led to another, and suddenly, they were locked in a heated kiss, his hands boldly exploring beneath her shirt without hesitation. Later that night, Amber called Logan, her speech slurred, telling him that she and the girls were heading to someone's house to keep the party going. He chuckled, told her to have fun, and stretched out on his bed before drifting into sleep. At dawn, Logan woke to sunlight pouring through the curtains he had forgotten to close. There was still no sign of Amber. She had probably crashed at Marissa's for the night. Without getting up, he reached for his phone and started scrolling through social media. That's when he stumbled upon a post from one of Amber's friends, a collection of photos and videos from the bachelorette party. Curious, he tapped on the first video. Everything seemed normal at first. Scenic shots of the water, a gorgeous sunset, Amber laughing gleefully, announcing to the world that she was getting married. But the next video was different. The lighting was dim, making it hard to see clearly. Frowning, Logan increased the brightness on his phone. The scene became clearer. Two silhouettes, a man and a woman. The woman, sitting on the man's lap, appeared to be Amber, and the man, the yacht captain. They were entangled in a deep kiss, his hands tugging at the waistband of her jeans. She wore only her jeans and a bra, her white shirt discarded on the floor nearby. That was the moment it hit him. Clear as day, the woman in the video, wrapped around the yacht captain, was Amber, his fiancée. Logan's mind spiraled. He saved the video, replaying it over and over, numb with disbelief. Then, just like that, it vanished, most likely deleted by the friend who had carelessly posted it. But it was too late. Logan had already secured his copy. At first, all he wanted to do was lash out, punch a wall, shatter something, let the rage consume him. His first instinct was to call Amber right away, tell her the wedding was off. But as he stepped onto the balcony for a cigarette, the crisp morning air and distant birdsong did something unexpected. A different idea took root. Revenge. Once the thought entered his mind, there was no shaking it. And soon enough, he knew exactly what he was going to do. He said nothing. He carried on as if everything was normal, playing the role of the devoted, unsuspecting fiancé. It was agonizing, but he endured it. With only a week left until the wedding, final preparations were in full swing. Meanwhile, Logan worked on a little surprise of his own, something Amber and their guests would never forget. The wedding day arrived, bathed in golden sunlight. Amber, now his wife, stood before him, radiant and oblivious. Logan looked at her with a mixture of sorrow and determination. This marriage was doomed before it even began. His plan was already set in motion, and there was no turning back. That evening, after the vows had been exchanged and the reception was in full swing, the guests gathered inside the elegant venue. Laughter filled the air as the usual dances and games played out. Then Logan took the microphone from the MC, his voice calm but firm. "I have a special wedding gift for Amber," he announced, smiling as he gestured to the DJ. He had handed over a flash drive earlier, instructing him to play a slideshow, a montage of their love story, set to a soft, romantic melody. The lights dimmed and the projector flickered to life. A reel of cherished memories unfolded on the screen. Their first dates, vacations, sweet stolen moments over the years. Logan's recorded voice narrated their journey, weaving a heartfelt tale of love and devotion. The room was silent, captivated by the sincerity of his words. Many guests had tears in their eyes. Some openly wept. And then, the moment that shattered it all. The final scene wasn't another tender snapshot of the newlyweds. Instead, the video cut to a dimly lit clip. A woman straddling a man, their bodies tangled in a heated embrace. Amber and the yacht captain. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone stifled a scream. The blood drained from Amber's face, leaving her deathly pale before her skin flushed a deep, burning red. She shot up from her seat, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. Without a word, she bolted from the room. The friend who had originally posted the video sat frozen, her hand clamped over her mouth, unable to move. Logan exhaled deeply, then turned to the stunned crowd. "My dear friends," he said quietly, his tone measured, "I hope you understand. Thank you for being here today. But I'm afraid the party's over, just like this marriage." And with that, he strode after Amber. She stood outside, trembling, whether from the chilly night air or sheer fury. He couldn't tell. The moment she saw him, she exploded. "You ruined my wedding," she shrieked, pounding her fist against his chest. Tears streamed down her face, smudging her makeup. "I made one mistake, and you decided to destroy me? You humiliated me in front of everyone, my parents, my friends. How am I supposed to face them again?" Her voice cracked, echoing into the night. Logan just stared at her, his expression unreadable. He had nothing left to say. He gave her a few days to gather her things and move out. She didn't even need that long. Instead, she sought refuge at Marissa's place after her own mother refused to let her in, horrified by the scandal. Marissa, of course, sided with Amber, condemning Logan's actions as cold and ruthless. But it didn't matter. The marriage was over before it had even begun. Amber tried to move on, dating other men, but happiness always seemed just out of reach. Even years later, she would find herself reminiscing about Logan, the unwavering love and respect he had once given her so freely before she had shattered it. Logan, on the other hand, flourished. He found someone new, built a strong and loving family, and left that painful chapter behind. Amber eventually remarried and had a child, but fate was not kind. When that marriage crumbled too, her life spiraled out of control. She turned to alcohol, lost her job, and in the end was forced to move back with her mother, desperately trying to pick up the broken pieces. That reckless night on the yacht, the moment of weakness she thought would never come back to haunt her, had, in the cruelest way, boomeranged right back into her life, striking her deeper than she ever imagined.